Hey y'all, it's Query and welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be very interesting, in my opinion, very interesting, because it is going to be a list of my top 10 favorite yaoi mangas. Now, if you don't know what yaoi manga is, it is a genre of manga which features boys love relationships. So two men in a relationship, basically homosexual relationship, I guess you could say, which is my favorite kind of relationship for men. I think they should all be gay and I don't care. I don't mind. Do your thing. But anyways, these are my favorite mangas. I honestly only read yaoi manga. I like some other stuff. Usually webtoons I'll read, like heterosexual relationships, but when it comes to Japanese manga, yaoi is the way to go for me. So I'm going to feature my top 10 and you can find some suggestions if you want. Yeah, find some that you might like. You never know. You never know. Anyways, this video was inspired by Miles J here on YouTube. I'll link his video below. He made his top 10 and I think we only had one in common on our list. So if you want some more manga, 9 other ones that I'm not gonna say, then definitely check out his video. Number 1, Heart no Kakurega. I could say that in a more Japanese type accent, but I won't do that. I'm just gonna stick to what I know. So this manga is about two guys, one named Izumi who is a little older and one named Haruto who is, I believe, a college student. They meet at a share house when Izumi gets robbed and loses all his money, loses his apartment, loses everything, and finds this share house that is really cheap for him to rent, and he just moves in. There's a bunch of crazy characters. They just are wacky, and there's also another yaoi couple in there that gets a few featured chapters, and they are also very cute. I'll insert a picture of them right here. But yeah, it's a really good manga. Haruto is kind of like very shy, very standoffish, isn't really into being around others, but he finds love in Izumi and just good things happen. Also, it has a little bit of not safe for work chapters, so if you're not comfortable with that, don't read this manga because it is definitely in there. And also a disclaimer, some of the tropes in a lot of yaoi manga is the rape or pressured into sex trope. This is something that happens very frequently in yaoi manga, and if that bothers you in any way, don't read those. And I will give you a warning before I name a manga that has that kind of storyline, just so you know. Next one. Number 9, Fushidara na Hanata. Now I really love this one. This one is a little, I guess I would say trigger warning, because I think, I'm not certain, but it sounds like there's like, the relationship is an incestual relationship. I'm not positive. I just try to think of it like it's not that way. The way they explained it in the manga wasn't very clear to me, so I'm not sure. So this manga is about two guys, one named Kotaro, one named Ayumi. So Kotaro is a young guy who is looking for money. He raises his little brothers at home and he does all the cooking, all the cleaning, but he needs a job. So he takes a job at his mother's relative's house named Ayumi. And the relative is a writer and he doesn't take care of any of his own business. Basically, he doesn't clean, doesn't cook, doesn't do anything. So basically he hires Kotaro to do all those things for him. Kotaro is his name. Just make sure, I'm looking down here to make sure I have the names correct. So he hires him to do all those things for him, and through their relationship and living together, they kind of develop this relationship and fall in love with each other. It's really cute how Kotaro is like, he's a virgin, this is his first time ever having a relationship at all, and let alone to figure out that he's gay. It's just, it's a very interesting story. And then eventually Kotaro graduates college and he gets a job, and at his job there's another guy who's trying to pursue him, and it becomes like this whole love triangle square type situation. And if you're into mangas like that, definitely give it a read. If you can get over the trippy maybe incest thing, then you'll enjoy this manga. But I just wanted to give that trigger warning just in case you're not into that. Okay. Number 8 is Tyrant Falls in Love. Now this one is really good. It also has an anime adaptation, which I only think has 2 episodes, I believe. That's what I could only find 2. If you find more, please feel free to comment below and let me know what those are. But this one features Morinaga, who is a college 4th year, and Tatsumi, who is a college 5th year. They work in a lab together. They're both science people, and they meet, and Tatsumi is very, very extremely homophobic. He has a brother who is gay. His brother moves to the United States with his boyfriend, and he is furious because they kind of ran off together. So he calls his brother all the time, yelling at him to tell him to come back. He tells him, don't get married in the United States, because you know gay men can get married in the United States. So he just is very worried and concerned about his brother, and he really hates homos. So it's funny because the whole time his friend, well, underling, basically, Morinaga, is in love with him but is afraid to tell him because of this reason. Now I will give a trigger warning starting now. The first episode of this manga features Tatsumi getting drunk on a drink that Morinaga left in his apartment that he didn't think that Tatsumi would find. Tatsumi found it thinking that Morinaga was hiding alcohol from him when he actually had some, and decided to drink it. Well, this alcoholic drink is something that rules the next person kind of in a state where they're kind of in and out of consciousness. So Morinaga comes home and finds Tatsumi like this and decides to test his limits, and they end up going all the way, to which disgusts Tatsumi, and he just is not about it, just not feeling it. He's very upset. So if that kind of situation is triggering to you, please don't read this manga. Don't come and give me hate comments because I'm recommending it, because I'm letting you know right now, you don't have to read it. Just wanted to say that. But if you decide to read it, it is a really good story. They end up really liking each other, and they end up, you know, being in a relationship kind of, which, well, Tatsumi will deny it, but they were in a relationship. They were. They had sex frequently. Tatsumi would say he hated it, but he liked it. It was kind of that situation, which yaoi has a lot in their manga. Coming in at number 7, I Hear the Sunspot. Now this one has a very near and dear place in my heart because I honestly believe it is a beautiful story. It features Kohei and Taichi. Kohei is a college student who is deaf. He can hear some things, but he really can't hear that well. He's very popular, he's very handsome, all the girls like him, but they say that he's cold, even though, because they think he can hear them, and he says that he can read lips, but he doesn't do it well. He doesn't wear hearing aid or anything. He doesn't speak sign language, so he just comes off cold to other people, or as if he's not trying to communicate with them. He is very lonely at school, and one day he's eating his lunch and he meets Taichi. Taichi is a college student as well, who is very poor and works a bunch of part-time jobs to pay his tuition. And he was, I think he was running around hungry that day, and he ran into Kohei, who was eating his lunch, a boxed lunch, and he said, hey, you know, I'm hungry, that smells good, can we share? Can I have some? And Kohei, being the kind guy he is, says, yeah, you can just have it, like, take it. Which is surprising to Taichi, but he takes it anyway, and then Kohei tells him that he's deaf, but for some reason he can hear Taichi's voice. And he says, is it okay with you if you work with me, it'll give you some money, like, cause it's through the school. So he's like, if you take notes for me in class, then I'll feed you boxed lunches, basically. And you'll get paid through the school, through the school, and you won't have to buy lunch. So they agree to that. They become close friends and eventually fall in love with each other unexpectedly. Well, Kohei more than Taichi. Taichi starts off kind of confused and not knowing what happens. And don't worry, if you are not wanting to read something with sex scenes or not safe for work scenes, this one doesn't have any so far. It is still continuing, but it doesn't have any scenes like that. I believe I've only seen 2 kisses so far in the manga. So don't worry, you can read this at work and nobody will look over your shoulder and see peen going into holes. So coming in at number 6, Yarichin Bitch Club. This one it has a lot of not safe for work scenes, and it also has a lot of triggering scenes. So I'm going to give you a trigger warning right now. This one is full of sex, and this one has a lot of references to rape. This manga is about a kid named Tono who transfers to an all-boys high school. He makes one friend, and his friend is in the soccer club, which he's not interested in. He's like, I don't do sports, I don't want to play soccer, so I'll join the photography club. He joins the photography club, which seems like a normal club. It's only him and one other guy who's trying to join the club. And they realize that the club is actually kind of like a prostitution club. It's kind of just a place for the guys in the school to come to find other guys to have sex with to get their jollies, basically. And Tono is like, nope, not about it, I'm gonna leave. And then they kind of just force him to stay. And where the rape part comes in is, the club is, you're not allowed to be a virgin in the club, because if you're in the club, you have to be open for these guys to have sex with you. So they tell him that he has 30 days to lose his virginity, and if he doesn't lose it in the 30 days, they will all gang rape him. Yeah, that's what they said. So if you're not interested in that, trigger warning right there, you don't want to read this one. But it is very funny, and it is really good, and I love the spicy scenes. I'm all about spicy scenes. Also, I think they came out with the anime. I cannot find it anywhere. If you know where I can watch the anime, please comment below and let me know. But that is number 7. All right, number 5. This one is more of a webtoon type manga. It is Chinese, I believe. I don't know what they call it. It's manhwa. Manhwa is Korean, I believe. So I'm not sure what the Chinese version is. I think it's the same thing, just spelled differently. But this one is called Here You Are. I love this one. I just recently got into this one. There's not that many chapters out, so it's still updating. I just got an update today, actually. But this one is about a guy named Yu Yang and his friend Li Huan. Well, Yu Yang is a sophomore in college, I believe, and Li Huan is a freshman. So Li Huan comes in as a freshman. He's very quiet, very cold, doesn't really talk to anyone, but he finds comfort in Yu Yang. He really thinks he's nice and wants to be his friend. So they become friends. They hang out a lot. He gives him advice on girls, things like that. But Yu Yang is openly gay. So Li Huan finds that interesting about him, or finds that intriguing, and I don't know, starts to question, like, do I like him as a friend, or do I like him as more than a friend? And it kind of becomes this thing, and he confesses to Yu Yang, and Yu Yang is like, no, you're not gay. You're confused, because Yu Yang has previous traumas so coming out, so he doesn't want Li Huan to go through the same situations that he did. But it's just a cute story about how Li Huan is finding himself and able to come out as gay and able to pursue a man. So if that sounds interesting to you, read Here You Are. It's really good. It's really popular right now. You can read it on Lezhin, and it's also available on MangaRock. Coming in at number 4, Don't Be Cruel. This is one of my favorite mangas. I actually had the physical version. I actually had a physical version of I Hear the Sunspot as well, but I lost it because I'm an idiot. Anyways, I love this one. And these books are on Amazon, and they have 2 volumes in each book. It's really good. The artwork is really beautiful, but trigger warning, there is some rape stuff. Wow, is that? I didn't think I liked that trope, but I'm finding that I read a lot of manga with that in it. But I'm just going to do a trigger warning. This one is about Nemugasa and Maya. They are both high school students in the same grade. I think they're in their 3rd year, so they're going through entrance exams and trying to get into college. And Nemugasa is like the top in his class always, so he feels pressured about his test taking and like getting into college. So one day he cheats on his test. He brings a piece of paper with the answers in it, and he takes a peek at it during the test. I think only one time he did that, and he got caught by Maya. Maya doesn't usually take his test in his class because he's in the class with the smart kids, but Maya ended up taking his test in his class, and Maya saw him. So one day Maya calls him out of class, and he's like, hey, come see me over here by this fence. And he's like, I saw you cheating on your test, and if you don't want me to tell people, I need you to blow me right now, basically is what he says. So Nemugasa, being the sweet innocent child he is, takes Maya seriously and does it. And then they continue their relationship this way for a while, actually, before they both realize that they have feelings for each other. I believe Maya had feelings first, but he didn't know how to voice that because he just has issues being just a bad kid. So the only way that he could get Nemugasa to continue is for him to continue to blackmail him into having sex, which Nemugasa eventually is just like, no, I'm not doing it anymore. And then they fall apart. And then, you know, as most manga romance does, they find their way back to each other. Number 3, 10 Count. Now, I believe this is one of the most popular yaoi manga out right now. It's literally so good. It is about Shiratani and Kurose. Shiratani is he's a secretary for a company, and he has misophobia, which is where he washes his hands all the time. He doesn't like to get dirty. He doesn't like to touch anything dirty. He just wants to stay clean. He wants nobody to come into his house. He doesn't want anybody to sit on his bed. He doesn't want anybody to touch him. That kind of situation. So he meets Kurose when Kurose saves his boss's life. And Kurose comes to him afterwards and says, hey, do you have misophobia? And he's shook. He's like, how do you know? And then Kurose asks him to come with him to lunch. So they go to lunch together, and Kurose explains that he's a psychiatrist and that he wants to help Shiratani to cure his misophobia. Well, through trying to cure his misophobia, Kurose realizes that he has special feelings for Shiratani. Shiratani is not even willing to let someone touch him, let alone have a boyfriend, let alone try to cure his misophobia at the same time. So he's shook. He's all the way shook. He's like, why am I having these feelings? Why do I want Kurose to touch me? So instead of talking about it with Kurose, he lashes out. And then they fall out, and they don't talk to each other for like months. And then he sees Kurose in an elevator one day, and he just pours his heart out to him right there. And Kurose is just like not having it. He's like, you said you don't want to, are you disgusted by me? And this, and that. And I don't know, it's good. They find their way back to each other, and there is some not safe for work scenes in this manga. If you're not interested in that, please don't read this manga. Please don't read this manga if you're not interested in that. But the scenes in this manga are so good. I usually just kind of skip over the not safe for work scenes, but these are bomb. Like, they have good scenes. Like, they get your blood rushing. I'm sweating like from thinking about it. They're good scenes. They are good scenes. Number 2 is Honto Yajuu. I really like this one. I read it a long time ago, but I still remember it as one of my favorites. It's so good. It is about a police officer named Ueda and a Yakuza member named Aki. Now, a Yakuza is the Japanese version of the mafia, basically, and Aki is like the son of the head of the Yakuza. So he is very beautiful. A lot of guys try to attack Aki, so trigger warning, there is some guys trying to sneak in Aki's window and have sex with him while he sleeps. So that's the only thing that's kind of triggering about this one. But one day there is a underwear snatcher, and he steals Aki's underwear because he's in love with him. And when this happens, who saves Aki? The police officer named Ueda. And Aki just kind of falls in love with him at first sight and just kind of follows him around like a puppy. And they end up falling in love. And it's just a beautiful, cute story about two guys who love each other, who want to try to have a relationship when they're two men. And Aki's family is surprisingly on board with it, and his family is surprisingly like cool with it as well. So I don't know, it's really good. It just finished. It says it's ongoing, but I don't see the author making any more updates on it because the last chapter I read seems like an ending. So if it's ongoing, I'm willing to go out and get it and read it and pay all the monies to the Patreons to get more chapters, but I'm not certain. Coming in at number 1, my number 1 top yaoi manga is Elektel Delusion. Now I believe this is the only one that Miles J and I had in common, but I love this one. He had it pretty low on his list. I think it was like number 10, but it's number 1 for me. This is one that I go back and read over and over and over again. It's just so cute, and I just love the characters in this one. So this one is about Shunpei and Fumihiro. They are childhood friends. They've been best friends for their whole lives. They've showered together, they've bathed together, they've played together, they grew up together. They're like brothers, like best friends. So one day Fumihiro tells Shunpei that he thinks he's gay. And Shunpei's like, what? He's shook. He's like, what's going on? Like, you my best friend. I saw you date women. Like, how are you gay? And he's like, well, a senpai confessed to me, and I think I'm gonna try to date him. And Shunpei is forever shook. He's so funny. He's just like, what are you talking about? But in the back of his mind, he's like, well, I thought he was going to say that he was in love with me and that's why he thought he was gay. But that's not what Fumi says. So he's like, okay, if you're going to date this guy, I need to meet him. Like, I need to meet him. And he sees him. He's like, what? This freaking guy? What are you talking about? This is the guy you're going to date? If I'm right here and this is the guy you're going to date? He doesn't say that, but that's what he's thinking. And Fumihiro's like, yeah, I don't like him, but I'm just going to try to date him for now. So he dates the senpai, and Shunpei continues to get even more and more jealous. And he's like, why am I jealous? Why am I jealous? I don't care. I'm not gay. He even asks himself, like, in the mirror, he's like, am I not cute? Like, why doesn't he pick me? And one day he's in the tub and he finds himself fantasizing about sex with Fumihiro. And he decides, you know what? I'm going to put it into this right here, right now. He goes to Fumi and he says, listen, break up with senpai and date me, because he's a freaking scrub and you need somebody better, and he doesn't even really like you because he was in love with somebody else. He's using you the same way you're using him, so just date me. I'll date you. I don't care. And Fumi is like, are you sure? Like, if you can't take it back later, like, if you want to try this, like, you have to stick with it. And Shunpei's like, you know what? I'm ready and I'm even willing to be the cat, is what he says, which he means to be the uke, or the bottom. In yaoi manga, there's a seme and an uke, and the seme is the top, the uke is the bottom. So it's like, I'm even willing to be the uke, like, I don't care. Because Fumi was like, I'm not going to be the uke. I might be gay, but I just can't do that. This sleeve is really driving me crazy. So, they end up going straight home and trying to fool around, and yeah, they just end up falling so deeply in love with each other, and it's such a beautiful story. And I don't know, I just really love that one, and it has a lot of not safe for work scenes, but they are all consensual, so that's good. There's one with a whole lot of consent. But yeah, it's a beautiful story, and it's so funny, and it's so cute, and it's very short. I think it's on like 24, 25 chapters. So if you have time, take your time to read this one. And that is the list for my top 10 yaoi mangas. Now, this is my personal list. You might hate some of these. You might love some of these. Just let me know what you think in the comments, but be nice about it. Yaoi manga is very near and dear to my heart. I really love it. I've read so many. There's so many more. I'll put some honorable mentions down in the description box below. And, you know, give me your list of your top 10 or your top 10 most hated yaoi manga. I don't know. Give me your list in the comments below. But thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Come back and watch the next one. Why not? Let's be friends. No, seriously, let's be friends. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.